Good evening, I'm Karen Johnston. There was little in the way of any major new announcements for the Illawarra in today's budget, with the Treasurer delivering a $283 million deficit. Serious concerns have now been raised after the Illawarra Infrastructure Fund generated by the port lease failed to be outlined in the budget papers, while the Hunter was given $200 million for the lease of Newcastle Port.
This was the only sign of the Illawarra Infrastructure Fund deemed as committed and reserved.
Look what the sale of the port has delivered to date. I said it would happen and it has happened.
It's been confirmed just $300,000 was spent of the $20 million allocated last year. The Treasurer's office told Win News this afternoon that $42 million has been allocated this year, the bulk coming in later years. Why is there mixed messages about what has actually been delivered?
Estimates have been made as to what projects are anticipated to commence this year. So whether that ends up being, 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, 50 million being paid in this year and then further monies next year, it will be paid according to how construction takes place.
What did receive funding as a result of the port lease, $8 million for Bulli Hospital, short of the $14.5 million needed.
We knew this money was coming, so it's not necessarily new, but we are very, very keen to see that development started, underway, so that Bulli Hospital can once again be a credit to our local community.
There will be more cranes at hospitals across the region, close to half of the money for Wollongong Hospital's redevelopment delivered, and a third of the facility's multi-storey car park, which is blown out to more than $30 million. There's new funding for an ambulatory care centre at Shellharbour Hospital, along with planning money for 2 of the region's hospitals.
I was looking for substantial funding money for that to occur, and it just isn't there.
There's also over $70 million for Bega Hospital and an ambulance station for the town. Meantime, the government will complete a feasibility study on the F6, totalling $11 million. It will fall short of the Illawarra, only reaching Loftus.
If we're going to save anything on that budget, we've got to have the planning in place.
Another $1 million added to planning for the Albion Park Bypass. The Princes Highway was the biggest winner, $179 million, including Gerringong upgrades and the Foxground to Berry Bypass. Further south, the Shoalhaven Bridge among those projects to receive a boost.
As well as $1.8 million for O'Allen Ford Bridge, and that's going to benefit anybody who wants to travel from the south coast and councils south and north to go to the Hume Highway.
There's also additional bus routes announced for Flinders to Shell Cove and Dapto to the university. Despite continued funding for a number of major projects in the region, this budget did little to stop the comparisons between the Illawarra and the Hunter. Due to the success of Newcastle's port transaction, an additional $100 million has been allocated for the Hunter Infrastructure Fund. Since 2011, it's received a whopping $1 billion.
Well, it's simply appalling.
Funding for other projects include the bulk of the Wollongong Courthouse redevelopment and the Illawarra Industry Training College. Melissa Jaros, Win News.